What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Board YouTube channel for our NBA trade deadline watch along, part of the Hammer Betting Network. This is the NBA content division of the Hammer Betting Network. So, subscribe for NBA betting content every weekday morning, plus the additional Thursday afternoon show, which, is canceled for this week because, of course, it's NBA trade deadline day. We're back at it for another year on the Hammer Betting Network, watching along the trade deadline. Last year, if I remember correctly, we were on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel. Well, this year, right here in the NBA content division, as it should be for the NBA content. And players right now flying off the shelves. There was a flurry of deals that went down right around, it was like right around 10:30, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Quieted down for a little bit, but trades are slowly trickling in here. And especially in the final hour, which we are now in, teams are just going to send out the Hail Mary sort of trades. Hey, they want to get something for a player. Well, get something rather than nothing at the 3 p.m. deadline. And even at the 3 p.m. deadline, takes like 10 to 15 more minutes to make sure everything else is finalized. Some trades can go through right after the so-called deadline for whatever reason. So we have an action-packed show along the way for you guys. In about an hour at 3 p.m. Eastern time, Pips NBA at Pips NBA on Twitter, my co-host for our morning show on this channel, will also be joining me on the stream, and he'll be here to round off all of the action. So I'm excited. This is probably the second most important day in the NBA calendar as far as content is concerned. The NBA draft takes the cake for that one, but NBA trade deadline, lots of stuff does go down. And if you guys have any questions along the way, please make sure to let me know in the chat as well. I'll be getting to as many as I can. I'll probably be able to get to everything involved in the chat. So send in your chat, send in your messages, send in your questions, and we can react to all the information as it happens. The most recent trade to go down was Patrick Beverley ending up on the on the Milwaukee Bucks, away from the Philadelphia 76ers. The Philadelphia 76ers acquired Cam Payne and a 2027 second-round pick. Well, this was a bit weird because for the Bucks, they get better here. They needed some point of attack defense, and by goodness, they got it. For the Sixers, I don't really know why they're strengthening a competitor like this. Looks like they might clash at some point in the playoffs. That's a bit weird, but it also could be maybe an indication that Kyle Lowry is going to end up on the 76ers as a buyout candidate from the Charlotte Hornets. That's kind of what I see with this trade here, but at least they did get some draft compensation. On top of that, I see some Raptors fans in the chat. What's going on to Toronto 4-6, Jay Conda, and Sweater God. For the Raptors, they've been active today. 2 trades already. Hopefully for my Raptors, your Raptors potentially watching along right now, hopefully another trade is on the way for this team. Hopefully Bruce Brown is on the way somewhere. There should be no shortage of interest for Bruce Brown. It just will depend if the Raptors get enough to move him away, because I guess, it's kind of opening up to me that for the Raptors, they could elect to keep Bruce Brown beyond this season. They could decide to maybe wait until the summer to make a trade. If people are interested in him right now on a technically expiring contract, kind of expiring, it's a team option in the season, maybe they'll be interested in a year's time. Who knows? And Bruce Brown is a solid player to have on your hand. But for me personally, if I'm the Raptors, I try to trade him now. And if a first-round pick is on the table, which reportedly it is, you make that move. Another trade for the Raptors, 2 more trades. Spencer Dinwiddie has ended up on the team in a deal with Dennis Schroeder. A bit of a strange one that caught some fans off guard, including myself, but a trade that more or less makes sense at the end of the day. And also, Ochai Agbaji and Kelly Olynyk have ended up on the Raptors. Toronto 4-6 saying Kelly Olynyk big pickup. I'm definitely looking at that trade like Ochai Agbaji is the centerpiece of that one. That is the main component. That is the player that the Raptors wanted. They also get Kelly Olynyk. I think that's the bonus in the deal. To be honest, I think it's a bonus in the deal getting Kelly Olynyk. But that pick they gave away, not a valuable pick. So I think that they are A-okay with that one happening. No co-host. So no need for the headphones today. Gonna have to get in a lot of fluid. It's going to be a long show here today. Jay Conda says, like what I've seen so far, on my 3rd cup of coffee in 1 hour. It has been a crazy day. Following along with all the trades. I remember my phone just absolutely lighting up. I got notifications on Twitter for Woj and Sham. So all of my notifications were lighting up right around that 10:30, 11 a.m. time when all these trades started to go down. just trying to keep up with everything here. A lot of stuff on the way. I think that the big news of the day today is definitely with the New York Knicks. What a piece of business the New York Knicks pulled off. Um, that was crazy. Welcome 905 Yada in the chat, by the way. Thanks so much for joining, everybody. The New York Knicks, my goodness, if they weren't contenders before today, they are after. And I don't know if more moves will be on the way, but that was an absolutely outstanding piece of business, in my opinion, what the New York Knicks were able to accomplish today. They were able to land Bojan Bogdanovic, and also they were able to land Alec Burks. I think Alec Burks is a player that continues to fly under the radar as a pretty good player to have on your team, especially if you are a good team. Initially, this trade was reported incorrectly. It was reported as Quentin Grimes and 2 second-round picks going to the Pistons for Alec Burks. That was weird because Quentin Grimes is a lot, well, maybe not a lot, but more valuable than Burks, and you were giving 2 picks. And then we see the adjustment here. Bojan Bogdanovic in the trade, and to make that salary work, Evan Fournier, Malachi Flynn, and the other way. Always kind of joked about Malachi Flynn one day ending up on the Pistons. And, well, here he is. If you can't make it on the Pistons, you may not be able to make it anywhere. That's something that maybe could be said about Killian Hayes, who is no longer with the Pistons after getting released by the team. There was apparently not enough interest or something. I saw reports that the Grizzlies were offering draft compensation to get Killian Hayes, but I guess something didn't work out. But the New York Knicks here, they acquire Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks. They lose Quentin Grimes, Evan Fournier, Malachi Flynn, and a second-round pick. Now, there's a number of reasons why this is actually a much bigger deal than you might think it is. So, for starters, for the rest of this season, Bojan Bogdanovic is a monster upgrade. Not a monster, but a good upgrade on Quentin Grimes. He adds in a lot of scoring and floor spacing to this team that already was good. Alec Burks brings in just a nice role player vibe. Again, more floor spacing, a solid defender. These are 2 really good players for the Knicks to make in a potential run here. And honestly, bona fide contenders with this trade. They've got everything they need. They have nightmare matchups all over the place. They've got tons of floor spacing, a good amount of scoring firepower as well. If Randall can hit anywhere close to like those high levels that he has in the regular season, if he can hit any of those in the playoffs, this is going to be an extremely difficult team to beat. And on top of that, what you may not be noticing here, what has been a sticking point with a lot of these star level trades that Knicks have been trying to make, what's great is that they haven't given away any of the litany of first round picks they have who they want to package for a star player. But what's been a bit of a holdup for the Knicks in making these sort of star player trades in recent times is that they are putting Evan Fournier in the deal. Teams don't want Evan Fournier. Well, now the player you're adding into that package with those picks for salary is Bojan Bogdanovic. That is a player that is a whole lot more interesting than Evan Fournier. So for this season, this makes the Knicks a lot better. And I think in the offseason, when they want to make that big splash of a trade, well, that also gives them a much better opportunity to make a trade there. So this is definitely a significant move for the Knicks. I mean, what do you guys think? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is a championship level trade for the New York Knicks in some capacity? For real, think that this is a massive move for them for now and for perhaps in the offseason. A new trade just gone down here. According to Shams Charania, Daniel House has been waived by the Detroit Pistons. Well, my confusion here is I didn't know Daniel House played for the Pistons. He was sent to the Pistons today for a second-round pick. Okay, that was one that flew a little bit under the radar earlier today, but Daniel House was sent to the Detroit Pistons, as well as a 2024 second-round pick from the New York Knicks. That was earlier on today. So I guess the Pistons took a second-round pick to waive Daniel House. All right. House is a pretty solid player. Shams just said it right now that there are going to be multiple contenders probably looking for Daniel House. But yeah, I think that there are definitely going to be some good teams who have some sort of interest in House, good size, decent shooter. For a contender, not convinced he'll be in a rotation for a big playoff run, but I think absolutely there should be some consideration for some of those teams. But the New York Knicks, for me, have been the big winner of the day. The big losers of the day, I don't think anybody has outright made a terrible trade today. I'm a little bit confused about the Hornets trade. I don't think they got quite enough out of that deal for Gordon Hayward. Like, Micic is okay, Trey Mann is fine, but, like, taking on the Davis Bertans contract, it feels like OKC got off a little bit scot-free with that Davis Bertans contract. But the big loser of the day, because I don't think there's a big loser in terms of the trades that went down, the big loser of the day has to be the Chicago Bulls, right? The Chicago Bulls continue to convince themselves that they can be contenders for whatever, like, they can be not necessarily a contender, but I don't know what they're convincing themselves of, because this team is not it, but they continue to push this core. They're the big loser of the day. And the probably second biggest loser of the day, for the same reason, is the Lakers. Clearly, that team is not good enough to contend. There's not nearly enough scoring or floor spacing, and they decided to stand pat at the trade deadline. That doesn't really make sense to me. But as far as trades are concerned, there's no real head scratcher sort of trades that have come out of this one thus far. Feel free to sound off in the comments if you think that I'm off base with that take here, but doesn't feel as though anything went abundantly wrong. I think the Mavericks may have slightly overpaid in their trade for Daniel Gafford. I just want to reconfirm what the trade was. It was Daniel Gafford, Rashawn Holmes, and draft Daniel Gafford to the Mavs. They need size, that's fine, but they traded away Rashawn Holmes and draft compensation. I'm not sure if it has been made apparent what that draft compensation looks like. Draft compensation could, I think I saw that it could be the Dallas Mavericks first round pick, which could have some sort of value, but it could also mean like a second round pick, which obviously isn't nearly as valuable over there. Let me see if I can run through the Woj feed here to try and pick through what ended up. I didn't even think Woj reported it, so I guess we go over to Shams. Who's your main? If you guys are looking for trade news, you go into Shams first, you go into Woj first. For me, it's Woj. It's just the natural reaction. But let me see on the Daniel Gafford front. I actually don't even see anything regarding Daniel Gafford here either. I guess I'm missing it. What a stream we got going for you guys today. I don't see anything along the lines of Daniel Gafford. Okay, whatever it may be, some size come in. I'm not sure if it's the pick that Dallas wanted to give away, is what I'm trying to say here. Also featuring from today, Royce O'Neal ending up on the Phoenix Suns. They wanted to get Miles Bridges, but instead they settle here for Royce O'Neal. Phoenix acquires Royce O'Neal from the Nets, David Roddy from the Grizzlies, and 3 second-round picks, and they send out a pick swap and 4 players. So that trade was a little bit confusing. Yuta Watanabe, I think, ended up on the Grizzlies with that one. A little bit of a reunion there for Yuta Watanabe. David Roddy is a prospect I've always been interested in. I was a really big fan of him before the his draft cycle, which was 2022. Yeah, 2022 hasn't quite worked out for him, but the Suns acquire Royce O'Neal. That's the big thing that you have to take in consideration from this trade. Royce O'Neal's a really nice fit for a contending team. I'm surprised it took this long for a contending. I mean, are they really contending in Phoenix? I'm surprised it took this long for a sort of contending team to take on a player like Royce O'Neal. I mean, he's a classic player who can shoot. He's a class player who can shoot and play defense. And that's what you need if you are a contending teams. The Killian Hayes saga is an interesting one to cover as well. Woo. Comes to an end here with the Detroit Pistons waiving the player. I don't know what's next for Killian Hayes here. I'd be surprised if no team took a flyer on him. It's been a very Raptors-y move to take a flyer on this sort of player in the offseason. I hope not right now, but it is definitely the MO of the Raptors to take a flyer on a player like this, kind of in the way they've taken a flyer previously on Stanley Johnson. We'll see if maybe they have any sort of interest. I kind of hope they don't, to be honest. But I mean, look, he was in a situation. Sorry to hear my dog. There was no better situation for Killian Hayes. He'd been getting tons of minutes with the Detroit Pistons. He was getting tons of shot up with the Pistons. Maybe he'll be somebody who kind of fits into the category of a player who, in a more subdued role, they can be a little bit better, where they're not having to force up shots. I don't know. Some players can sometimes fit into that category. Sometimes the right situation. Sometimes you're in the wrong situation, but that's how I kind of feel for Killian Hayes. We'll see. I'm not sure there's a future there in the NBA. Joey in chat says that Daniel Gafford this season, 11 points, 8.8 rebounds, 2.2 blocks, which is 7th in the NBA, and a 71% true shooting percentage, which is first in the NBA. Yeah, Gafford's a solid player. Not going to deny that. That's a pretty nice player to add into the rotation at center for that team. You just want to add in these rim running type of players for Luka Doncic, and I think they kind of have that here. We have Seagrain, who says Raptors better trade Boucher and Brown. Boucher will be tough to trade. His contract is $11 million next season. Find it hard to convince myself a team will want to take that. Bruce Brown would be a surprising one not to get traded. The last time Gordon Hayward was an All-Star, none of the Thunder were in the NBA. That's quite shocking to me. But wow, a testament to the young team involved with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think it's a pretty good situation for Gordon Hayward. Ultimately, I thought it was weird on the surface, the Gordon Hayward trade. Gordon Hayward sent to the Thunder in exchange for Trey Mann, Vasily Micic, hopefully I said that correctly, and Davis Bertans. Yeah, I was a bit weirded out. I didn't think it was the perfect sort of, or the best sort of player the Oklahoma City Thunder could have acquired here. They need size and rebounding, really, but then looking back on it, I mean, what did they really give up here? Not much. Not much. Like, Micic makes this one a little bit worse. Trey Mann has some value. Bertans, you actually is like, you need to package stuff to get off the Bertans contract, but they're able to get Gordon Hayward out of this, add some secondary scoring, add some floor spacing. Pretty no risk maneuver by the Thunder here, although I want to see if they can land some sort of size. I think they still need some size here in the second half of the second half of the season. We're already way past halfway point, but second half of the season. Javon in chat says that the Washington Luka pick and roll is going to be nasty. Oh, I forgot about this one as well. Some more size being added in. PJ Washington going to the Dallas Mavericks. Gafford's gone today. PJ Washington also there today. The Hornets received Grant Williams, Seth Curry, and a top 2 protected 2027 first round picks. So extremely lightly protections on there. But PJ Washington, yeah, here's a guy who can score, who can definitely shoot the ball, good size, has had a 40-point game this season, which is one of the most random 40-point games perhaps in NBA history. Yeah, just imagine the pick and pop sort of game there. Coming off the screen, setting himself up, straightaway three. Doncic's going to find him, no problem. That's going to be a pretty dangerous duo. Absolutely agree with you, Javon, on that one. Kyle in chat has asked if Bruce Brown has been dealt yet. Bruce Brown's still a Toronto Raptor as of right now. It's getting tougher. I thought the Bucks would be somewhat interested. Not after the Beverly trade. The Lakers are standing pat. The Knicks have already made a trade. I think it's going to be a little bit difficult for the Raptors to trade Bruce Brown at this point. I guess they really just couldn't get what they wanted out of Bruce Brown. I would say, based on this ain't my first rodeo with this Raptors team. I've been doing live streams, content around the NBA trade deadline for the last 4 years now, I think it is. I'm at the point now where in the final hour, it is very much not in the nature of the Raptors to pull the trigger on a deal in the last hour. They are usually on top of things. They usually get things done very quickly, hence the OG trade before the turn of the year, hence the Siakam trade before the deadline. Obviously, they've taken care of some business today, but it is not usually Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster's MO to go for a trade at this stage. People have asked about the Raptors trade involving Spencer Dinwiddie and Dennis Schroeder. Um, what you have to recognize with the Dennis Schroeder trade here, it's kind of an ugly one. It's kind of an ugly one looking back at the offseason. You just signed Dennis Schroeder, but the way you have to really think about this trade here, the Raptors traded away a guaranteed contract for the 2024-2025 season and got back no guaranteed money for next year. Dinwiddie should be somewhat fun for the rest of the season. Then he's a UFA. Not really much of a need to bring him back if you don't really want to. It's fine. You open up cap space. You can use that to re-sign Emmanuel quickly. You can save up money down the line for the Scotty Barnes rookie max extension. It's a strictly financial move by the Raptors. I personally don't really understand what the Brooklyn Nets are thinking with this one. Don't know how much Dennis Schroeder changes things there, but for the Raptors, they get off a contract for next year of a player they didn't really need. That's all there is to it. It's a complete financial move by the Raptors, and it makes sense. Thaddeus Young comes off the books as well. Kind of would have liked Dennis Smith Jr. to come in the trade. I kind of like Dennis Smith Jr. I was excited about that. Looks as though Woj got that one incorrect, but yeah, it's a financial move by the Raptors. Yeah, I didn't think any of the big names were going to get moved. It felt like it was going to be a lower tier deadline day, but there's been some interesting trades around the league. Finally, going to see Gordon Hayward on a good team again. Wonder how that's going to look. 905 Yada says Masai Ujiri, Raptors team president, has stated multiple times doesn't prefer trading deadline. Yeah, it'd be weird. I'd be a little bit surprised. I'd be a little bit surprised if the Raptors made a move in the next 40 minutes or so here. Nick Killer, Reggie Miller, also known Thomas Perry, says likes the blue light. Yeah, we switch it up. We switch it up for the content over here. But Kingston, yeah, we talked about the Dennis Schroeder one. Bulls are selling, worse front office. Mr. Bro, they're actually the worst front office because they aren't selling. They are figuratively selling because they literally are not selling. They are not trading away players. That is the big problem associated with this team at the moment. I mean, what do they see here? What do the Chicago Bulls see with this team? I mean, let me pull up a Chicago Bulls roster. What is the goal here? You know what? As this is listen, preseason on this channel, we had the preseason show where he gave out best bets, best futures heading season. One of the bets we gave out, which I don't think I personally gave out, but I condoned it and did bet it myself. It is the Chicago Bulls over on their win percentage heading into the season. The way they started, that looked really bad, and especially the way it looked like they were going to fire sale, but then they went on a bit of a run here, and they're 24-27. I have the over 37. Let me just double check my public bet stamp profile here. I believe I have the over 37.5 on the Chicago Bulls season long win total. That is correct. They are on pace with a 0.471 win percentage for 38.6 wins. So me personally, they're right on pace for their win total. If they were to sell at the deadline, that would obviously make them more difficult. Me personally, as the Chicago Bulls better. I'm pretty happy with that decision there. But from a neutral perspective, what are they thinking here? I think that there is a lot of teams that would have been interested in a player like Alex Caruso. He has a great amount of valuation there. Javon Carter, another one who I think is underrated as hell. A very good point of attack defender, a good shooter. That's another one you could have sold on. DeRozan. I don't know what was out there, but maybe something. Andre Drummond as well. Probably would have been something out there. This is a weird one, absolutely, from the Chicago Bulls. Soldier, I think having a 6'5" point guard with Spencer Dinwiddie will be interesting. You can play him with IQ at times. Well, that's what I also kind of noted when the trade happened. his ability to play in lineups with Emmanuel quickly and make that look a little bit more interesting than lines with Schroeder. I agree with you on that one. How many more years of being mid do they need? I don't know. That's the thing. Like, everybody knows what they got to do, but they won't do it. They don't trade Caruso. That's such a fumble. That was easy 2 first-round picks. I'm not sure it was easy, and maybe they were just trying to hold on for the valuation. Alex Caruso has more time on his contract, but it's a bit like the Finney Smith one where you're getting good returns here. It's not maybe the level you want, but like you can cash in on some nice assets here. We'll see if the patience pays off. Alex Caruso has a partial guarantee of next season for $9.89 million. That'll become fully guaranteed. The Bulls are going to keep him around. I guess you can still move him in the offseason, to be fair. Can a surprise trade or deal happen right after the deadline? I mean, for sure. If we're talking Toronto Raptors specifically, not really, but absolutely these things can continue on. So anybody who's curious, if you're just joining me here for the first time on this channel, the Board HQ right here is the NBA content division of the Hammer Betting Network. Hammer Betting Network is an industry leader in providing trusted sports betting content across multiple sports. I would say the main focus in the company has been on football with our Forward Progress YouTube channel. Yesterday, there was a 5-hour Super Bowl prop extravaganza, 30 bets given out in the space of 5 hours, all for the Super Bowl. But this is our NBA content division right here, where I would say I typically am part of the content, but I am always part of the content here for the NBA stuff. I am the NBA mind, let's say, of the Hammer Betting Network, and it's for sports betting content across multiple sports. We have the Edgework HQ YouTube channel for hockey. We have the Forward Progress HQ YouTube channel for football, and we have the Hit the Books HQ YouTube channel for college sports, mainly college football over there. That's what you get over here. But one of our partners here, one of our sponsors here, is the BetStamp app. If you are betting on sports, use an odds tool finder, an odds finder like the BetStamp app to make and facilitate everything associated with your sports betting endeavors. Takes mere seconds to find the best number on a side, a total player prop associated with any of your betting. You'll notice as well in the pinned chat in the comment, you can join our drop station server, the hammer.bet/the nails. Over there, we have 2 giveaways going on, one of which is for BetStamp swag, one of which is for Pinnacle swag. Go over there, completely free to enter, and we have some additional content coming on our drop station server. I guess somewhat similar to Discord, coming a little bit later on. Special guest for today, we have Pips NBA coming on, joining me at 3 p.m. Eastern time to round up everything that we have seen from trade deadline day. So Pips, my morning co-host on this channel, where we go live every weekday morning, 9:45 Eastern time, right here on this channel for NBA free picks, courtesy of Pips, plus some additional NBA discussion with myself. We have me and Pips coming on at 3 p.m. Like I said, every morning we are on together. Raptors fans out here wanting McDaniels to get traded. I would feel better, but you got to think about it from other teams' perspective. How much does Chris Boucher move the needle? And is it worth taking on $11 million contract for next season? That would be the big one. All right, moving through here. We've hit a bit of a barren spell here. It's been, I don't think we've had a trade since we have gone live here. So we were supposed to react to the trades as they happen live. Well, ever since I've gone live, we don't have any trades to speak of. Right before I went live, we had the Patrick Beverley move to the Milwaukee Bucks. By the way, you got to shout out the Patrick Beverley podcast team, because they were the ones to break the news. Patrick Beverley is doing a pretty phenomenal job in promoting his own personal brand. You got to hand it to him with the way he also handled the situation when he said the Raptors have no dogs in the summer, and continues to double, triple, quadruple down on that take because it makes Raptors fans upset and it gets tons of engagement for his podcast. Well, his podcast feed was the first to break the news that he was traded to the Bucks. He's doing a fantastic job with his stuff over there. McDaniels for Killian Hayes. Well, but Killian Hayes is a free agent. He is getting waived by the Detroit Pistons. So I guess the Raptors really wanted him. They could just go on ahead and make that one happen. I do think the Bucks got like quite a degree better by adding in Patrick Beverly, just because they were so sorry in the point of attack defense department. Like Damian Lillard and Malik Beasley as your point of attack defenders. It's no wonder that team sucked on defense. It's not Adrian Griffin's fault. Not much AG could have done with that one. Bruce Brown, I think I've underrated the Bruce Brown flexibility. Bruce Brown he has a team option. If teams were willing to shell out some stuff for him right now, they'd be willing to shell out stuff for him in a trade in the summer. They'd be willing to shell out some things in a trade for him at the next deadline. I kind of want to get into young assets right now as a Raptors fan, but if considering this Bruce Brown situation, the Raptors, I suppose, have the ability to be patient and have flexibility. So if you don't have what you want now, you can do that. I personally would like to move him now, but understand that I guess it's not the end of the world if something doesn't come to fruition with him a little bit later on. They had Malik out there thinking he's regarded as a perimeter defender. Yeah, that's what I mean. Those are two horrific defenders next to each other at the point of attack. That team is going to struggle defensively. It's going to make Brook Lopez's job a lot harder, which is why he's having a bit of a down year. When do you expect Brook Lopez is getting older on top of that, which is why I thought Bruce Brown would be a solid pickup for that team. But Patrick Beverly does address a major concern there. I don't think it's been a boring trade deadline. There's been quite a few things that have gone down. Usually there's more that goes down in the last little bit here, but has not been the case as of yet. But if you're just joining, you weren't here earlier on, big winner of the day absolutely goes to the New York Knicks. Yeah, this team is starting to get a little bit scary. I don't know how you guys feel, but this is a big thing. DeJounte Murray got traded. No, he didn't. Don't fool. Why are you trying to fool me like this? Unless you're not. Unless it's coming through right now. Doesn't appear as though that's the case. Nope. You got me. No DeJounte Murray trade. I want to go through the Underdog NBA tweet of the updated New York Knicks depth chart. This is a contender, guys. This is a contender, guys. Brunson at point guard. McBride is a solid guy to have in rotation. DiVincenzo, good defender, good shooter. Alec Burks, good defender, good shooter. OG Anunoby, maybe the best defender, really good shooter, amazing player. Josh Hart, good defender, good rebounder, decent to not so good shooter. Randall, if you get your offensive firepower from him, that's the difference, I think, between going far and not. Bojan Bogdanovic, outstanding floor spacing, shooting. Achua, switchable defender who seems to be doing well under Tom Thibodeau. Hartenstein right now has been excellent on both ends of the court. And Mitchell Robinson is supposed to come back by around the end of the season. So this is a stacked team. This is definitely a team. Like, if this team won the championship, wouldn't be crazy. Absolutely not. Who can Blake Murphy and Will Lou talk to now? Yeah, it was kind of weird. If you guys don't know, Dennis Schroeder was supposed to make an appearance on a Toronto Raptors show earlier on today. Then he got traded, so I don't know if he actually made his appearance or not. Who can they talk to now? They'll talk to Killian Hayes when the Raptors sign him as a free agent. They talk to me anytime. Javon says, very good depth and a great trade today. Still skeptical at relying on Randall when it matters most. That's a thing for me. I think for me, I kind of look at Randall. I'm like, I think the team is good without Randall. So like when Randall got injured and it said he'd be out for a few weeks, my thought was it's going to be really funny when they don't drop off at all while he's out injured. And that's kind of been the case right now. But I agree. The difference for them is going to be for like if they take to get past Boston, because to me, when I look at Boston, I see obviously the most stacked team in the NBA with their main guys, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who have continuously faltered in the most massive moments in the playoffs. The difference between the New York Knicks getting over the line in a series like that is Julius Randle showing a little bit more often, if you know what I'm getting at. Like if Randall's starting to tick close to his ceiling a little bit more often, then that team is good enough to go all the way. But of course, the whole thing is going to come down to if he can get to those points. Absolutely. I'm skeptical on Randall. You don't need to. Yeah, I don't need any convincing to be skeptical on Julius Randle, but that is going to be the absolute difference for the team, 100%. Um, Mr. Rosa can see LeBron James and Randall in a sign and trade. Um, that's not. I guess it's not outrageous. It would be. It'd be. I mean, it'd be pretty crazy for LeBron to end up with the New York Knicks. I don't know. You never know with LeBron. Things seem to be kept relatively close to his chest a lot of the time, um, and does a very good job with things like that. Abs sorted here. People sleeping on Ochi pickup. Kid athletic, talented. He worked out. He worked him out with Scotty, even though he was draft class after. Front office definitely saw something they liked with him. Yeah, and there's a personal connection between Masai Ujiri, team president, and Agbaji's family, actually, which I didn't know until the trade happened. It's a solid pickup. It's a solid pickup for the Raptors. He didn't give away much in order to make it happen. Mr. Bro says President Chua has the same amount of career starts for the Knicks as he had with the Raptors in the last 2 years. I swear he started a ton of games for the Raptors in his first season with the team. I'm strongly convinced this is another troll. This is your final chance. If you're wrong about this, you're cooked. Oh, you said last 2 years, to be fair. In the last season and a half with the Raptors, he started 17 games and he has started 5 games with the New York Knicks. Mr. Bro, you're cooked. That's it. No, we ain't trusting you anymore. We ain't you're done. You're done. LeBron waiting for the trade deadline to end so we can post another cryptic tweet. Yeah, you know what was extra cryptic about that tweet that I noted on this show on the Wednesday show last week. This is bro in the 2023 in the 22-23 season. He also started 12 games. Uh, this LeBron James cryptic tweet here. Let me find it. This guy tweets a lot. What I wanted to note about this trade here, or this tweet here, was the LeBron is a very adept emoji user. He uses emojis a lot. We could go back to his entire feed here. My guy absolutely loves emojis. Like my goodness. Every freaking tweet, this guy is spamming emojis. This guy knows his way around using emojis. So, my God, look at this. So, what I'm getting at here is that he specifically elected to go with the hourglass emoji, not the hourglass emoji that has like there's two different hourglass emojis here. There is the just starting the timer, and then there is the one he tweeted, which was the hourglass is pretty much empty, signifying that time is up and something's about to go down. So he sent out this cryptic tweet here of impending doom of some sorts, and then nothing happened. And literally nothing happened. I guess it was to signify he became a partner with a sports book. Um, for anybody who's unaware, please do not ever tail a bet by LeBron James. If he gives out a bet, please do not tail it. Absolutely not. Don't do it. No ifs, ands, or buts. But yeah, the GM is sleeping here, and the Lakers, who clearly need to activate something here and make a move, are not making that move. Very strange one. Very strange day for the New York Knicks as a whole. But maybe another cryptic tweet on the way. With a catalyst for the Lakers and their surge in the second half of last season and their surge all the way to the conference finals was a trade right around trade deadline day. I think it was the night before. This season, no activity whatsoever. They yeah, it's how you gonna do look out like that. Sad state. All right, we are 40 minutes into the stream here, and I gotta say, we're doing a great job keeping the content going here. We have had a grand total of 0 trades to react to live as they have happened. I start off by saying I very much doubt that the Raptors will have any sort of involvement for the rest of the day, but I'd be surprised if this was it for the NBA as a whole. I'd be very surprised if this was it for the NBA as a whole. Surely something else is going to happen at some point. Big winners of the day, the Knicks, they've done their job. They're chilling. Big losers of the day, Chicago Bulls, Lakers done nothing and have said that they will be doing nothing. I don't know. Looking around the top of the conferences, Minnesota added Monte Morris. That is a good pickup. They needed a backup guard for Mike Conley, and they got it. They got it. Good pickup for them. The Thunder didn't add the size and rebounding that they needed. However, like a pretty low risk trade on acquiring Gordon Hayward, first of all. And second of all, they've got time on their side, more time on their side than anybody else in the entire National Basketball Association. So I guess nothing much needed there. The Boston Celtics added in Xavier Tillman. They've got a pretty complete team, and they add in just a little bit extra to their center depth department, which is a decent to good move for that team. And also in the mix in this situation. The Bucks added in a player I think will help them. The Knicks got tremendously better, as I've said already on this stream. The Cavaliers had no activity, which maybe was a little bit strange, but I guess it's tough to see what else they could have added to their team. And also the 76ers. Don't think their move is right now. I think their move is going to come in the buyout market and in the buyout market for Kyle Lowry. Some space has started to open up with this trade they made. I think Kyle Lowry is going to come into play for that team. Sorry if you hear my dog going crazy in the background there, but dogs are barking indeed when Patrick Beverly is mentioned on the stream. Yeah, little Joshy, it's becoming apparent that Brucey boy is not going to be on the move. It's about 17 minutes or so. Pips NBA, probably a little bit less than that, will be joining me on the stream, and he'll be helping round up all of the action, all of the trades that have gone down here. But hopefully, we can get one or two more as we get closer to the trade deadline. If you're enjoying the stream so far along the way, please make sure that you do hit that like button. Let's drive ourselves up in that YouTube algorithm, especially ahead of Pips' appearance on the show. And please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. There's tons of content on this channel. I'm live every weekday morning on this channel, 9:45 in Eastern Time, alongside my co-host Pips NBA for daily NBA free picks. He's giving them out. I'm along for the ride, plus discussing some additional NBA news on the side of that. And every Thursday as well, on top of these weekday shows, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, myself and Kirk Evans break down the latest and greatest from around the National Basketball Association. So if you enjoy my content and you enjoy what I do, you might enjoy the additional content I have right here on this channel, the Board HQ, the NBA content division of the Hammer Betting Network. And big week for the brand here. Big week for the Hammer. Super Bowl on the way. Yesterday on Forward Projects HQ at FWD Progress HQ on YouTube, we had the 5-hour Super Bowl prop extravaganza show yesterday. 5 hours of Super Bowl prop picks with some of the sharpest, smartest sports bettors the world has to offer who came on with the show yesterday. So that was a whole bunch of fun if you're looking for some Super Bowl picks. But back to the NBA here. Javon says Cavs are essentially adding Garland back right now, so likely more active in buyout market, if anything. What do you think? Javon is a Cavaliers fan. What do you think would be the targets in that buyout market for the Cleveland Cavaliers? What does this team need to do to strengthen themselves here? They position themselves pretty well to make a run at the second seed in the East, but I don't know. You feel the same way. I feel as though there is still a little bit needed to compete with any of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. I think we have a move that went down. It looks like Doug McDermott is involved. Did Dougie McBuckets get waived or Doug McDermott to the Pacers? Okay. There is some vulgar words being shown on screen here, so I'm going to zoom in a lot. The Spurs are trading Dougie McBuckets, Doug McDermott, to the Pacers. Interesting move by the Pacers. The team that has a ton of floor spacing and no defense. They just added in a ton of floor spacing and no defense by trading for Doug McDermott. But good score. I think at this point that pretty not so good contract that Doug McDermott is on is coming to an end. If top of my head, he's a UFA, but he may have one more year on his contract. Let me just double check that. Yeah, he signed a big contract. Yeah, he's in the last year. Oh, it's actually not bad in 2024. $13.75 million rental contract. That is a solid addition for the Indiana Pacers as long as the return makes sense here. And we'll be following along as this happens to see what exactly that return is for the Indiana Pacers. But Devin Durant's a good player. He'll probably be excited to not be on a dumpster garbage trash team anymore. He'll probably relish that opportunity. Where do you play college basketball? He is played with Creighton. I don't know where that is. Anyways, I was seeing if there was some college ties to the location, but it would appear that is not the case. Um, yeah, not the case. No checking that. All right, let's see. I mean, expiring contract, probably with Mr. Bro here in saying that it's a second plus salary filler for McDermott. Well, we'll see how that one unfolds. We'll update as that continues to go here. New report out from Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN. DeJounte Murray is not getting traded. The Atlanta Hawks are keeping DeJounte Murray. No trade for him. And I tell you guys, this isn't an Atlanta Hawks decision. This is a nobody fucking wants DeJounte Murray move. Nobody wants him. Why would you? He can't shoot. He is not that good of a defender. He's decent handling here, but yeah, he is not the player you want him to be for the amount of money that he is making. And the Hawks, oof, that trade just gets worse and worse for that team. And time is ticking. I mean, Trae Young ain't going to be around there forever. I mean, I wouldn't be happy certainly if I was Trae Young in this situation. Spurs getting Marcus Morris, a second rounder, and cash. Is that? Oh, that's for real. Okay. Marcus Morris, second rounder, and cash. So yeah, second rounder and salary filler. Okay, the report coming out is that Marcus Morris is likely going to be a buyout candidate for this one. Marcus Morris to the Spurs, likely going to buy him out. Didn't know Marcus Morris played for the Pacers. Did that happen today? Did I miss a Marcus Morris trade today, or has he been there? Oh, he was sent to the Buddy Hield trade. What am I saying? In the Buddy Hield trade. All right. No, Marcus Morris should have some decent buyout potential here. But I like the move for the Pacers. They give up a second. They get better for the rest of the season. They're gonna have fun with Dougie McBuckets here. Marcus Morris doesn't really cost them much. They move off of his contract for a second round pick. And I think that there are going to be some teams interested in adding in that veteran sort of presence for the rest of the season. I think that's a decent one to pick up here. So some moves have gone down right at the deadline here. 10 minutes to go before the deadline. 10 minutes to go before we get Pips NBA joining me for this stream today. But solid move here. Nothing earth shattering with McDermott, but I think overall a decent move for the player and for the team. It's just going to come down to how well there can be, how well the teams can position themselves for for this Eastern Conference playoff seeding because it's very tight right now. New trade has gone down here. Apparently, Robin Lopez on the move. So last 10 minutes here, I expect a flurry of news to come in here. Robin Lopez getting traded to the Sacramento Kings here, and it's expected Robin Lopez will be waived by the Sacramento Kings. So I imagine the Bucks would have had to package a pick alongside this, but this is a buyout type of move. This is a move where the Bucks are now looking to acquire a buyout candidate. They're moving off the salary. They're giving away a pick to make it happen, and they're going to be try and sign a player in the buyout market. That player might be Daniel House. Now that I'm thinking about it, but or Marcus Morris. But the Bucks are going to leave themselves with a little bit more flexibility after making this trade. That is what is likely in mind for the Bucks front office making this one. But let's see what else covers the full scope of this trade package. So getting some news in here. As I was saying on the Indiana Pacers front, look, they're in the hunt here. The Sixers have fallen off quite a bit. They're like 3-12 without Joel. They're down to fifth in the East. The Pacers are only 2 games back there. Pacers also want to stay in the top 6, but I think competitive series could be had between the Indiana Pacers and other teams. They've played against the Bucks really well this season. The speed, the shooting, the spacing could be problematic for a big Cavaliers team. This is an interesting team for the rest of the season. I think they're a first-round exit personally, but I think they're going to make things difficult for a first-round series and potentially could sneak into that second round. All right, let me do some of my job here as producer and host of the show. Going to queue up some a feed here for when we get my guy Pips to join us. We have Pips joining to recap all of the big news. Tap in. And we're done. Tweet queued up. So still no monster moves. I guess it wasn't expected to have any of those. Like none of the big players had any real traction to get traded. I won't say it's been a boring NBA trade deadline though. We've had some news. We've had some news that's gone down here. The Knicks, a lot of times NBA champions, you look back on this day, you look back at the trade deadline, you look back on the trade they made being a catalyst. Like think about the 2019 Toronto Raptors. That trade for Marc Gasol at the trade deadline was really part of the reason they won a championship. They aren't winning that championship without Marc Gasol, and that was a massive catalyst. So oftentimes contending teams, the differences in a championship or no championship can be made right here at the NBA trade deadline. Let's see if any teams get themselves over the line a little bit today with any more trades that go down. Yeah, it's still that Chicago stuff is still baffling. When does it end? 5 minutes. 5 minutes to go before the NBA trade deadline. But as always, some trades can sneak through in the final 5 to 10 minutes after that trade deadline as they get processed. The trades can be made like right now, and it would take 5 to 10 minutes for it to process. So in those cases, we can get a few bits of action right after the deadline of 3 p.m. Eastern time. Um, but not a lot of action in the last hour here. Two trades. Robin Lopez and Doug McDermott, the only players moved in the final hour here. Final 5 minutes, though, kind of feels like most teams are wrapped up now, but you never know. You really never know. Okay, some actual news in the Raptors universe here. The Toronto Raptors are actually going to waive Spencer Dinwiddie. So this thin team just became a whole lot thinner, and the Raptors electing to waive Spencer Dinwiddie rather than giving him the upcoming contract bonus for games played. So the Raptors are going to save $1.5 million and are just going to duck Spencer Dinwiddie. So this is a financial move, probably first and foremost, but second of all, this is a tanking move. This is a big, big tank move by the Raptors as well. Like they are the Raptors are fully committed to tanking. They're not even like their point guard depth. The Raptors went from having like no guards to like a bunch of guards to no guards here. So this is an interesting one. Raptors are going to duck Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie all of a sudden becomes a very good buyout candidate. I'm not saying Spencer Dinwiddie is an outstanding player, but man, who wouldn't want a Spencer Dinwiddie just to add into your team in the buyout market? So right in the final minutes here, the Raptors decide to make some moves. So this would scream to me they spent the last few hours trying to trade Spencer Dinwiddie somewhere else and couldn't manufacture a move. So honestly, I think Spencer Dinwiddie is going to be hyped about this one. He's still going to get paid, and he's going to have his option on teams to sign for. And he's likely to end up on a team that's going to make the playoffs, which the Toronto Raptors were not going to be one of those teams. Interesting move by the Raptors. Interesting development for Spencer Dinwiddie himself. Just trying to get in on any more updates here on any of these situations. Raptors guard depth. You've got Emmanuel quickly. Kind of wanted to see Spencer Dinwiddie rest of the season, but I guess understanding for the tank. Other than that, man, it's a Raptors are a sorry ass team in guard depth. It's gonna be a rough end of the season for the Raptors. Jaden Springer got traded. Sorry to hear my dog barking in the background here. Um, Jaden Springer apparently has been moved as well. This tweet came from Not Shams. Did it come from Woj? 76ers are trading Jaden Springer to the Celtics for a second round pick. There you go. There is a roster spot opening up for the 76ers. It would seem Kyle Lowry definitely the player that is on their minds right there. Team positioning. So I mean, now Spencer Dinwiddie is going to be a very viable buyout candidate. Don't understand losing Dennis if we waive Dennis. Well, you can't lose Dennis and waive Dennis. Um, Spencer Dinwiddie got waived because he is on he's a UFA in the season. Dennis Schroeder has a guaranteed $13 million for next season that the Raptors no longer have to pay him. They open up the cap space. That's all it comes down to. It is a cap space maneuver in the offseason completely by the Raptors. They didn't get a second because it is a contract that nobody really wanted for next season. It was a strict financial move by the Raptors. All right, headphones are in. Momentarily, I will have Pips NBA joining me on the stream, and we're gonna get his thoughts on all of the moves that have gone down today as well. Excited to hear his thoughts, as I imagine some of you will be as well. Resident NBA player prop betting expert on the channel. And the Woj bomb just came through that Bruce Brown is going to remain a Toronto Raptors player beyond the trade deadline. The Raptors are expected now to keep Bruce Brown. Kind of disappointing for sure as a Raptors fan, but there still is some flexibility for move to happen down the line. There's still some flexibility down the line for them to make a move. He's on a team option, which maybe they'll take now. But teams are interested now. They will be in the summer and at the next trade down as well. If they're just going to let him expire, and it'd be really upsetting if they didn't take his team option out at the end of the season. We'll see. Okay, another trade here right at the end. We have Delano Banton, former Toronto Raptors player, on the move. Delano Banton. Let's pull this up here. So all the trades coming through now. It is past 3 p.m. Eastern time. It is past the NBA trade deadline here. Delano Banton has been sent to the Portland Trailblazers for a heavily protected second round pick. This is once again a maneuver for a contending team to get off of a contract to open up their ability to sign a player in the buyout market. Spencer Dinwiddie going to be in the buyout market. Killian Hayes in the buyout market, which I can't say with a straight face. Kyle Lowry going to be available in the buyout market as well. A lot of decent players going to be available in the buyout market, potentially more on the way also. So interesting situation brewing for some of these contending teams. All right. Final trades will be coming through for sure, but we will have our player prop betting expert from the channel joining me now on the stream here. Pips NBA joins in. Pips, hasn't been the most eventful final hour here, but some trades have certainly gone down. Any big surprises that you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, news just came that Bruce Brown is staying. Lakers are not doing anything. Hawks are not doing anything. Bulls are not doing anything. One of the, I would say, lightest trade deadlines in the recent years. So not much happened. At least, like we had some fun deals, but nothing crazy. Like usually we. So yeah.
Big winners on the day. I think some more trades going to start to trickle in here. But who do you think would be the big winner on the day? There usually is one team that comes out on top. Last year, it seemed to be the Lakers.
Knicks probably. I think
Yeah,
Knicks. Mavericks did some good moves, but I don't like PJ Washington, so
you don't like the
I,
PJ Washington move there.
yeah, no,
Why
I
not?
don't. Uh Not much on offense and not much on defense. Like he's average both sides. He can shoot. Like this season, 32% from the three. Most are wide open, so that's not no shooting gravity. No, not enough size to play the five. I don't see it with PJ Washington, honestly. And they paid quite some. Yeah.
They gave up a little bit for Gafford as well. What do you see? What do you see with the Gafford
I,
fit with that
I
team?
didn't manage to see what they gave up for Gafford.
I don't
Is that
see
for
any.
sure?
I see draft compensation in the Gafford trade, but I don't see what else. So obviously that is going to be very much telling as to how good the trade is. But it is Rashawn Holmes and draft compensation that have gone for Daniel Gafford. Obviously,
Gafford is a Gafford
go
is a
ahead.
good pickup. Gafford is a good pickup for them. They now have 48 minutes to run good bigs on the five, and that's a big thing for with Luka Doncic. He needs that kind of player.
Yeah,
Gafford fits great pick and roll partner. We'll see how his defense look at the Mavs. At the Wizards, it was even Porzingis was there. It was good at times. He can definitely defend the rim. His positioning and rebounding is an issue, which is also big part of a defense. Probably his defensive rebounding is the biggest issue for his defense, especially Mavericks who struggle with rebounding. So yeah, I think that's a good addition, but still would prefer like 24-24 split between him and Lively for the Mavericks.
yeah, I kind of agree on that front. We talk about the winner of the day. Likely, the New York Knicks. We'll probably want to touch on them a little bit later on as well. But any big losers from the day in your eyes? Seeing maybe teams who made a trade you didn't like, or maybe a team that didn't do anything today that maybe should have.
Bulls, Hawks, Lakers.
Yeah, I have
Lakers
Bulls and Lakers for sure.
Lakers are not contenders with this team. I mean, they always kind of are, but just kind of. I can see them winning against Clippers, against Wolves, against Nuggets, maybe not even against the Suns. So yeah, I don't see it with them. Interesting addition is Beverly to Bucks. Kind of
Yeah,
cheap, I think.
I like that
I
one.
think, yeah. I also think Beverly is he's been great this season. Whenever I watched him get a good minutes, he played great. Shooting down a bit this season, but overall, last couple of seasons before, he was making some threes. So yeah, his defense can help there. If he can make any shots, great. If he can pass, great. But I think he will be good for like 50 minutes a game for the Bucks.
I think mainly the thing that's been acquired here, and we were talking about it earlier on the stream, is that we always talk about on pick and roll and saying that the Bucks have no point of attack defense. Well, now they do. I'm a little bit confused why the Sixers were willing to make this trade. They got a second round pick out of it. A campaign in 2024 probably isn't doing much, but at least they got a pick out of it. But they have clearly strengthened a team that is going to finish very close to them in the NBA standings, and it's not out of the question they match up in the first round. What sort of motivation do you think the Sixers have behind making a trade like this?
Honestly, I have no idea. I think Beverly was great for them off the bench, especially without Embiid in the last couple of games. I think he was. I think he played well for them. So I honestly I have no idea why did they get rid of Beverly so easily. And yeah, and for campaign, like it's not that they got something back, so makes no sense for me.
So let's
Also,
go ahead.
yeah, I mean, it's just so like Drummond didn't get traded. Also, like Bulls, what the fuck are you doing, guys?
Yeah.
Lavin didn't get traded.
I actually have no way of describing what the Chicago Bulls are thinking here. What are they seeing here that nobody else in the world is seeing right now? It is like Alex Caruso. There should have been teams lining up for Alex Caruso, didn't trade him. Drummond was drawing up interest. He's not even starting for this team. What is the motivation behind the Bulls just standing pat at the trade deadline and deciding so? Like these reports coming out this morning saying they're not going to do anything. What is the motivation behind this?
They'll make the plane.
Yeah, but
That's it.
then what? Like
Yeah,
you make the play in, you might get bumped out of the play-in tournament. You might lose first round. You'll probably lose first round if you make the playoffs. Then what? Like it's in the same spot as they were last season. You know?
just older and some guys losing volume.
Yeah. I'd hate to be Chicago right now. Thankfully, my Raptors decided to actually make a move. Um, they didn't stand pat like the Bulls did. They got active early with OG and Siakam. But today, the Raptors made a couple of moves here. First of all, acquiring Ochai Agbaji, Kelly Olynyk, sending out Otto Porter Jr. and a first-round pick, a very bad first-round pick. Notably, that Raptors fans took a while to grasp that one, but in the end, a very poor first-round pick. They also were active in acquiring Spencer Dinwiddie and trading away Dennis Schroeder and Thaddeus Young. Spencer Dinwiddie in the last stages of the deadline has actually been waived by the Toronto Raptors, and Bruce Brown is also going to be remaining with the Raptors. We'll talk about some interesting buyout candidates in just a second here because Spencer Dinwiddie fits into that category. But the Bruce Brown saga, do you think it's a bit of a miss on some teams not going out and making a trade for Bruce Brown today? Or what are your thoughts there?
Well, for sure. Like, yeah, so many teams can use a guy like Bruce Brown. We saw from Denver last season. I mean, Bucks could probably he will be great there. Like, but so many teams will improve with having him, especially any team that's contending for anything. Like, so yeah, I think Bruce Brown. I mean, contract is not that like I don't know the situation for what they were thinking like when deciding to go. I don't think you guys asked a lot for Bruce Brown, so it's interesting to see him staying. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Bit of a, I guess, bit of a strange one. to keep him, but they have some flexibilities. Uh, they have some flexibilities with the Bruce Brown contract going forward. He's on a $23 million team option for next season. If teams are willing to trade for him right now on 22 and a half, they could get something for him for the $23 million contract still, whether that be in the summer, whether that be at next year's trade deadline. Not a bad player to have on your team by any means at all, like
Yeah, he
for the rest
can
of the season.
be a point guard at some point. He can be a point of attack defense. He can be in the lanes. He can be some cutter of balls, make the threes. Like all around for any playoff teams, he is great. I would say I don't know if you go like through. I didn't watch the stream earlier, but I had some things to do. But can we like do we go just through all the big trades or what's the
You want to go
way?
through all the trades you're saying?
Maybe some there is not much, so we can probably still go through most and just throw some comments
All right.
if you like
I
that.
wanted before that, I wanted to actually go through the buyout candidates. The Celtics made a move by moving away from Jaden Springer, opening up a roster spot. The Milwaukee Bucks moved off of Robin Lopez. That opened up a roster spot. Where do you see the likes of Kyle Lowry ending up, Spencer Dinwiddie ending up, or any other buyout candidates in the NBA? What do you think would be a good fit?
The Knicks have a spot. I'm not sure. Like the Knicks have a spot because they could use Spencer Dinwiddie like for like second unit creation. That will be like they have Deuce McBride there, so any improvement there will be for sure for Spencer. Um, I'm just thinking of like Kyle
I
Lowry.
Lowry on the Sixers makes a lot of sense. It kind of feels
Yeah,
like that's destined to happen at this point with the spot
maybe that's
opening up.
why they went away from the Patrick Beverly.
Yeah.
I don't see campaign playing any minutes, so maybe
No.
Kyle Lowry is the reason why they decided, okay, do we go for Kyle Lowry or Patrick Beverly, and they went for Kyle Lowry. Okay, I guess kind of. So that makes sense.
I can see some teams having interest in Dinwiddie as well. That'll be one to monitor for the rest
Yeah,
of
I
the
think
season.
Dinwiddie is a good player and can make any rotation in the league. So I think people should. I'm surprised that he is actually waived. I mean, I'm not, but the Raptors, but
Well,
traded then waived.
yeah,
So didn't expect that one, but it will be a nice pickup for like a lot of teams that have a spot.
agreed. Let's go through the trades from today now. We had the bigger one in the morning earlier on today. Oklahoma City acquiring Gordon Hayward from the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets got Trey Mann, Vasily Micic, Davis Bertans.
Vasily,
Sorry, how do I say it?
Vasily.
Vasilie Micic and Davis Bertans. Gordon Hayward on the Oklahoma City Thunder. The wide majority of NBA fans felt as though they needed size and rebounding. They don't get that here, but they also needed some floor spacing and did get that here. What are your thoughts on this acquisition from the Thunder? How much does this strengthen them for the rest of the season as they look to make a playoff run?
So, like from two to last 3 seasons, not counting last season when he had so many injuries, last 3 seasons he shot 39, 40, and 40% from three. So, yeah, he will do some of the spacing there. Creation probably going under. Like people are underestimating how good of a creator Hayward is. So that's great with Jalen Williams, Shea, and now adding Howard Hayward. Like they can move the ball and just do all kinds of stuff on offense. And you have three playmakers and on the court at the same time. It will be great for them. Uh, Hayward starting instead of Gide is an improvement
Big.
for sure. So yeah, I think they improved without giving up anything. I see it as a win for the Thunder. They didn't improve a lot, but they improved. So probably that was the idea. So I think if he can get healthy for them, he'll be a great addition.
Wasn't this
Rebounding, rebounding is still an issue, and it seems like they are not even trying to address it. They like the way they're playing so far with traditional big going a bit small and just having every player being quick on the feet, and that's how they play. So maybe they didn't even try to find probably some rebounding.
Do you find it a bit surprising how willing it seemed the Hornets were willing to kind of just take on the Bertans contract? It's $17 million next season on top of what he's owed for the rest of this season. I get they get off Hayward's money right now, but that was expiring money. Whereas I don't think the Hornets got back like some great players in this trade, and they have to take that Bertans contract for another year. I thought that was a little bit surprising. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't understand what the Hornets get here. Probably better will just to flip him for some picks. Yeah, I don't know. Like I
The
don't see
Hornets
it for them.
continue to surprise
Yeah,
with their
in
trades,
negative way for like a couple of years now.
big time.
I mean, they
But at
got
least,
kind of good deal return for PJ
yeah, about to
Washington.
say, at least they
Yeah,
got something there
yeah.
out of PJ Washington. Let's talk about that PJ Washington trade. The Hornets acquire Grant Williams, Seth Curry, and a top two protected 2027 first round pick in exchange for PJ Washington. So maybe something that would turn into a valuable first round pick at some point down the line. I don't think Luka Doncic will probably be there at that time. It's not a guarantee he will still be there, but the Mavericks have found it somewhat difficult to keep themselves in the contention mix, but still a pretty good return there for PJ Washington. You want to elaborate a little bit more about why you don't think he's a fantastic fit for the Dallas Mavericks this season?
I think he's a good fit, but I don't like him as a player that much. So
Okay.
I'm not a huge PJ Washington fan. Even in this crazy lineups with when with everyone out on the Hornets, he like had games 5 points, 6 points, then erupts for 22. Like so inconsistent. He's a player that will get you in the same night can get 0 and 30
Yeah.
points. He's not that efficient. He doesn't have the size. He's not a great on defense. He's not a great shooter. He's not a good shooter. He's not maybe decent shooter. Fit with Doncic is okay. He can pick and roll, pick and pop, probably pop more. He can hit him for the three. Grant Williams did that also. Yeah, I don't see a big improvement there because, as I said, I'm not a big fan of PJ Washington game. I watched a lot of his games in career, so I think like never managed to like surprise me with something great.
To a certain degree, it's probably a case of adding in size as well. Mavericks are a pretty small team. I guess adding in that. I don't think. I think maybe the lightly protected pick is a little bit too much to give up, but I don't think they've lost too much in making this trade to Dallas Mavericks. So I can kind of see the vision there. Let's go to the 76ers here. Quite active today. They acquired Buddy Hield. They moved Marcus Morris, Furkan Korkmaz, and a 2024 second round pick via the Raptors, which is a valuable second round pick. A 2029 second round pick from Portland and a 2029 second round pick from the Clippers, and some cash considerations along. So they've traded away 3 seconds, two players they didn't really need, and they acquire Buddy Hield. They also acquired Cam Payne in a 2027 second round pick for uh, for Patrick Beverly. And at the end of the day, they acquired they traded away Jaden Springer to open up a roster spot, likely for Kyle Lowry. They've been very poor without Joel Embiid from a win-loss standpoint this season. Do you think that any of these moves are going to help them along the way and trying to salvage this season? They slipped all the way down to fifth in the Eastern Conference now.
I think Hield is an expiring contract also.
Yes, it
So,
is.
so they gave 3 second round picks, got rid of some players to get Hield expiring. So they're probably hoping Embiid comes back healthy and Hield helps them with his shooting. He's tremendous shooter. Like he didn't have a great season with the Pacers this season, But if you take a look at the history of the last couple of seasons, like he is one of the best shooters we ever seen in the league. So of course that helps. Off the bench in limited minutes. That's it. When Melton comes back and he's healthy, Harris is there, Batum is there. I don't see big minutes for Hill, but Uber and Hill off the bench for like 20 minutes should be an option. And if they add Kyle Lowry, they are like 9 good players deep. So they are going in for. They are believing. They do believe Embiid is going to be back this season. This move shows it. So
That's true. There has to be some sort of optimism. He's going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks. Meniscus, obviously, he's not as bad as the ACL. I would be a bit surprised if he didn't return this season. However, when he does return, is he going to be 100% Joel Embiid? And if he's not, well, I don't know. I think that the Knicks all of a sudden are maybe even you could consider favorites over a Sixers team in a playoff series. The Cavs have been winning games. The Boston Celtics, obviously, like top tier team right now. So we'll see if this moderate gamble pays off, but more space opens up salary wise in the offseason for the Sixers. So that's something to consider as well. Marcus Morris actually might become a decent buyout candidate for some teams to take a flyer on as well. But speaking of the New York Knicks, I'm definitely going to call them the big winner of the day. You've kind of hinted at them being the big winner of the day, adding in Boyan Bogdanovic along with Alec Burks in a trade where they sent out Quentin Grimes, Malachi Flynn, Evan Fournier, along with 2 second-round picks. How much does this improve the New York Knicks? Where do they rank in your Eastern Conference power rankings? Are they legit contenders at this point?
yeah, they are. Mitch Robinson, they said, is coming back this season. So they are a really good team now. Like, obviously, we need to trust Tibbs to make this work with Bojan Bogdanovic and Burks now. We'll see how he managed to create the rotations and minutes spread. I, for a fact, know that Bojan Bogdanovic won't play huge minutes because Tips is like, if you can defend,
Yeah.
you have to find minutes on the roster, which is not something I'm looking forward to with Brian being my guy and being one of the best shooters in the last decade in the NBA. Like, if you are talking about consistent, good shooter, Bojan Bogdanovic is one of the best. Like, he's career 40% shooter in the NBA. He's like, he didn't have any down year. Like, he every season for the last 7 years he was between 39 and 42%. Like,
Yeah.
this season he even goes up to 7.4 attempts a game, which is, as I said, top 10 shooters in the NBA probably. Like, and very
Yep.
consistent. And you know exactly what you are getting from him. Like, he can shoot, he can go inside score, he can get to the line, and he can defend. Like, you, you know what you get from him. Similar stuff from Burks, maybe a bit better on defense. So they added a ton of shooting, a ton of scoring, and a ton of shot creation. Like, this guy can do it on spot up and do it on pull up. Like, they are great both ways. So they added a ton of good things on offense. The defense slightly declined, but they were already great in defense. So only need to make Tips work the lineups together. So yeah, I think they are great.
I think what's going a bit under the radar with this Knicks trade here. So first of all, they've made their team clearly better at the deadline. They haven't given up a ton of significant assets in order to make that happen. Like Quentin Grimes is a bit significant, but it looked like they were going to part ways with him anyways. But none of like their first round pick assets have been traded here. This is key because they've been trying to get a star player with these picks for a while, hasn't materialized. And I think one of the roadblocks in getting a star trade over the line has been the contracts that they've been given out. That contract has always been Evan Fournier's contract. Well, now that contract that's going to be inserted in the trade is Bojan Bogdanovic. And I think that that contract becomes a whole lot easier to trade next season. It'll be expiring next season. That contract is a whole lot easier to trade along with those picks for a star player than Evan Fournier was. So do you think
Also,
that's in consideration?
also Boyan is like another dimension player at the moment. Like if when you put him in a 20-minute bench role,
Oh, he's
he is
great. Yeah.
insane because like so I don't think they should even like yeah they can move off him, but I don't think they will want to do it when they see how he plays for them.
And at that for only $19 million along with that as well. So,
Yeah.
um, man, the Knicks are cooking something up. I would probably say at this point they could easily be considered a top two team in the East. Matchup wise, how do you think they stack up to the Boston Celtics in a hypothetical? Like, let's say this team gets all the way to the conference finals and plays the Celtics. How do you think this one goes down matchup wise? Celtics probably the upper hand, but what do the Knicks throw at Boston to try and get themselves a bit of an edge?
I don't see any problem for for Knicks defending Tatum and Brown. They can eat them up.
Yeah.
This matchup, Porzingis is an insane mismatch for Boston Celtics. So this series will be down to can Kristaps Porzingis make threes or not? It's a game changer for them because they will leave him wide open probably with drop coverage in the defense with either Hartenstein or Mitchell Robinson. So yeah, they can go to fight Boston Celtics in 7 game series. Do I think they win? Maybe not. I'll still favor Boston in that series, but they can
Yeah.
go far and they have chance. So if everyone's healthy and everyone playing above their means, yeah, for sure. Like they can play with anyone, like anyone.
Yeah. That is not a team you want to face 7 times in a playoff series. Like they're gonna be they're gonna categorize themselves this way. That's gonna be a tough team to beat 4 times out of 7 games. You're gonna have to really earn that series, and I'm sure they're gonna Knicks fans are gonna kind of own that sort of term heading into the playoffs. So a team to watch out for. Final thing we'll throw at you, Pips, for the stream today. The Atlanta Hawks were not active. You are a bit of an Atlanta Hawks fan yourself. Your main source is the Houston Rockets, but weren't expecting much today. But the Hawks, you got a soft spot for sure. No action today. Was that surprising? And what's next for this team? They're kind of in the same boat as the Bulls a little bit more firepower to bank on with Trae Young being on the team. But what's next for this team?
It's also playing spot and nothing season. I think the problem with Dejounte Murray is no one wanted him enough to pay for him
Yeah.
because he sucks as a player. No real value in his contract and anything he does for any team, no fit for him at any team. So it kind of sucks. They spent so much to get him, and now they try to get off him. So that's some poor moves by the front office. They do have some Jalen Johnson young players, Kongu young players that are getting better. Jalen Johnson this season is like great stuff for the Hawks. But they have so many like Hunter is being disappointment. Sadiq Bey is not disappointed, and no one expected anything from him. He's one of the rare categories of no D, no three in the NBA, which is insane.
It's not that
And
rare. There's a lot of guys.
yeah, and he's playing like 35 minutes a game for them, which is insane. Bogdanovic is like probably I like I if I'm any team in the league, I'm calling for Bogdan Bogdanovic. Like he is insane, 6 man bench guy. Like pick and roll, pull up, catch and shoot. Like he's unbelievable player. Like to have from the bench. So I don't know why anyone. Surprised that he didn't move. Surprised that no one goes for Capella. So yeah, I'm surprised. Not surprised that Jonte didn't move, but I wanted him to get moved. I'm surprised no one went from Capella and Bogdan Bogdanovic. So weird spot for the Hawks. Not doing anything seems like also poor decision, but we'll see what the future brings. And do they do something on the in the summer? And maybe even Trae Young asks for trade. That's not off the books, in my opinion. Like in
Yeah.
career so far getting wasted with no good teams.
Yeah, what happens if Trey Young asks for a trade? What sort of return is there available? Do the Hawks try to beat him to the punch and say, okay, let's move him before he asks for one, and then obviously trade value decreases immediately when a guy asks for a trade? Do you think that's on the table this summer?
Another disappointing season, not looking great for the future to improve. Trey Young is one of the best players in the league. Yes, I think that's always on the table in those scenarios.
For the Murray trade, they gave away so many picks. Here's your ticket out of that and recovering those picks.
And you have like Congo and Jalen Johnson too. Like some
Yeah,
Jalen Johnson will be like
he's very
insanely
good.
good player. Very good, very good. Yeah.
And Okong was there, as you said. So maybe the right time to get out of this one is in the summer. We'll see how that all develops there. But we'll be following everything along the way for the rest of the season with Pips and myself being involved. We're live every weekday morning on this channel right here, the NBA content division of the Hammerbed Network, the Board YouTube channel, 9:45 a.m. Eastern time on weekdays for myself and Pips. Pips gives out his free picks. We talk about some of the various trending topics around the league. And also on Thursdays around this time, usually I'm live with Kirk Evans. A nice 30-minute segment for you, Pips. Thanks so much for spending a little bit of time today. I know it's later on in the day there. It's 9:30 p.m. in Croatia where you're active right now. You're dealing with the broken knuckles on your hand as well, rocking the hard cast for today's show. So we'll let you go. Thanks so much for spending a bit of time here today and helping us round off all the action.
Thanks, man, and it was a pleasure.
I'll see you tomorrow for some more pick and roll, and the viewers as well. We'll see Pips on the stream as well over there. Gonna go for a little bit longer here myself here, as we have potentially one more guest joining me along the way. We shall see. It could be a surprise guest, but we're gonna go another 10 to 15 minutes here. Any questions coming in from the chat on anything, please let us know. We had Akilan earlier saying, "Why keep Bruce? He wants out." Well, the Raptors probably weren't getting quite what they wanted for Bruce Brown. They had plenty of time, certainly, to make something happen here, but it's probably a case of Masai Ujiri maybe overstretching the valuation on a player, which is not the first time something of that nature has happened. But the Raptors recognize that, hey, he's making $22.5 million right now. That's too much for him. That's too much for Bruce Brown. But nonetheless, there are teams interested. First round picks are being thrown out for Bruce Brown. And if teams are going to be willing to trade for him now, why wouldn't they be willing to trade for him in the offseason or next trade deadline? He has a team option worth $23 million. If there's suitors there, take the team option and trade him. If there are no suitors there and you want to move off, then I guess this would be a pretty disastrous outcome. But if there's no suitors there, you can just let him walk at the end of the season and open up all of that cap space. So there's opportunities, there's options for the Raptors in some capacity here, 100%. But it would have been nice, I think, to move off him right now. Not going to read this name, but did we just fleece Danny Ainge with a Utah trade? So this is in reference to Kelly Olynyk, Ochai Agbaji coming from the Jazz in exchange for Kyra Lewis, Otto Porter Jr. 2024 first-round pick. I don't think so. For me, I think the Raptors are better off betting on Agbaji rather than a very late first-round pick. But the Jazz have an opportunity to use that draft pick in some capacity. They have an opportunity there if they want to use that draft pick. They get an expiring contract in Otto Porter Jr. They free up some money as well. I think it's a real fair trade situation here. Personally, I like it maybe a touch more for the Raptors, but the Raptors have a mid to late first round pick coming from the Pacers. They have what is likely going to be the first pick in the second round coming from the Detroit Pistons. They've got picks in that area. They don't need to overload there. Agbaji is a sizable wing shooting guard who good defender, good player in transition. Maybe some shooting there. It's, maybe not there, but maybe some shooting there. But good defender, good player in space, good player in transition, good size. It's kind of a type of player the Raptors needed. Has ties to team president Masai Ujiri. So I wouldn't say the Raptors fleeced here. I wouldn't say Masai Ujiri cooked here, but I think it's a solid trade for the Raptors to make. in this situation. And overall, trade deadline day, maybe a touch disappointing. The only future considerations that were acquired came via this trade. The other one just was a financial trade for the Raptors, but it didn't seem likely they'd get a ton for Pirtle here. Didn't seem likely they'd get much for Gary Trent Jr. here. Kind of wish some more second round picks came in the way of the Raptors, but we'll kind of see how this maneuvers in summer. And what happened today, last year, the trade deadline for the Raptors, I was like a bit distraught, I'd say, at the end of the day, with how things went down. Felt like the Raptors were in a really bad spot. I don't necessarily feel like that's the case today with how things went down. So overall, not upset. Not too happy, but not upset. That's for sure. Sports Prediction 101, just sub. Thank you so much for tuning in. Glad you are enjoying the stream content. Any final questions, Tim? I'm gonna give our guest, our potential surprise guest, another 4 minutes here. If not, gonna sign off here from the Board YouTube channel today. But as I said, back tomorrow, 9:45 for more NBA free picks. But the dust is settled on NBA trade deadline. I think the biggest thing now will be the buyout market. It's rare for players to. I think there are two players in the buyout market that can actually have an effect on a team for the rest of the season. It's rare to have even one, but I think Kyle Lowry gives a team a boost for the rest of the season and the playoffs specifically. And I think Spencer Dinwiddie certainly provides the team a boost for the rest of the season. A lot of teams should really have some considerations in place towards getting a player like Spencer Dinwiddie. So this will be a bit of a fun one to monitor as far as the buyout situations are concerned. The Bucks freed up a spot. The Celtics freed up a spot. The rich are seemingly going to get richer here. Soul Train says, should RJ come off the bench to handle the ball? Me personally, no. His role right now has been great. His true shooting percentage has been outrageous for the Raptors. I like the role that he's currently working on and working in. I don't think that there's really a big way down the road where you want the ball in his hands a ton. Just the lack of jump shooting takes away a lot of his game when he's there. But he's a smart player off ball. So I like the role that he's currently in for the Raptors. I was kind of, I was kind of looking forward to Dinwiddie playing with the Raptors rest of the season. That's a touch upsetting. I was expecting Spencer Dinwiddie to be a nice two-guard combo with Emmanuel Quickley. The Raptors are extremely thin. I guess some of the playmaking that you lose there is made up with Kelly Olynyk being involved. Kelly Olynyk is going to be a good player to have on the team for the rest of the season. But the Dinwiddie one, I guess, what's the point of having him for the rest of the season? You save $1.5 million and you probably lose more games as a result of making this maneuver. Your team is worse. The Raptors are tanking. So why not position yourself here in such a way where it's going to help the tank and save you a little bit of the money? It's going to suck for Raptors fans, but we got to look at the end goal. And the end goal is, keeping that draft pick here for this season while getting as much development along the way. Another question is Bruce Brown going to be back in point guard? That's kind of looking like it's possible. We're going to be getting a lot of Brucey boy backup point guard minutes. It does sort of feel like that is the case with the team right now. Yeah, Raptors had no guards, then a bunch of guards, then no guards really. Manuel Quickley is here, but other than that, it was Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder's no longer here. Spencer Dinwiddie got waived. It would have been nice to get Dennis Smith Jr. in the deal, honestly. I'm a bit upset that Woj kind of dangled that in front of us and teased us a little bit there, but ultimately it did not happen. All right, looks like that'll be it from the show for today. Well, guys, appreciate it. We had a lot of fun in the stream today. Hour 40 minutes strong. Thanks so much for tuning in. Reminder, we have other content here with the Board YouTube channel that you can check out. We have daily content on weekdays and the weekly show on a Thursday. So please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Drop a like as well. And we have more fun content on the way just like this. Check out our drop station link that is pinned in the chat. Join our server. And 2 free giveaways. All you got to do is go to the drop station server, enter the giveaway for some BetStamp swag, enter the giveaway for some Pinnacle swag. Easy. Click the link, enter, join the giveaways, and bonus on along the way down the line if you do so care. Some more additional content on the way. Thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll hopefully see you tomorrow on the Pick and Roll live stream, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time.